Good morning, gamers and gamers alike. Today is a glorious day. We're trying something new. We're gonna try to make some progress videos on this account. This wonderful account I've been playing for quite a while here. We have got here a UIM, but not only a UIM. I hate my life just enough to not use a looting bag, death storage, or death piling in any capacity. If I die, I gotta go pick my stuff up. There's nothing about it. It's gotta be in my inventory again before I do anything else. That's all I got for you. Them's the rules. Kinda cucks me out of a couple things. I haven't been able to do some of the diaries. Haven't been able to do Fighter Torso. I had to delete my rune pouch at one point to get a rogue's outfit, etc. There's been quite a few things. Definitely getting into this a little late, so we'll have to try and fill you in with some screenshots and a little bit of talking over. And work together and get some sort of a compilation together for that. Yeah, this is just me holding myself to it. So yeah. Well, here we are, and here we are indeed. We are about to begin the story of this marvelous UIM. At the beginning, we started out as an even more niche account than what we see here today. Originally, this account, believe it or not, was not only a free-to-play UIM, but I also played only on mobile. I spent the first couple weeks of my account just grinding away, grabbing silver tiaras and silver symbols and selling them so I could get some cash and get my first little bit of GP to start the Anku grind, getting some arrows and whatnot, get that crafting up so I can cut the gems and all that good heavy fun stuff. And we did that until about 80 ranged. Once we hit 80 ranged, and I mean we got some good prayer levels in too, trying to burn out, we eventually made it to the Ogress grind, because Ogresses got dropped on free to play, and those things are absolutely busted. If you weren't doing Ogresses, you were doing something wrong with your life. Ogress grind pushed us for a couple hundred hours. We ended up grinding that out over the course of over more than a year. Definitely wasn't a quick grind. I was in college at the time. Kept grinding away. Eventually we filled up. We had like 25 mil cash, as you can see in these screenshots, and got a bunch of runes that we were able to use at the end there, and eventually finished off. We had tons of law runes and nature runes that we were able to take all the way to Iron Rocks in free-to-play using my nice reindeer hat tick manipulation, and we grinded out about 215,000 of those bad boys, plopping them in Barak. Got that 89 smithing to get that rune sim. Very, very nice. After we grinded out the rune sim, we hopped over to the crafting guild and did a little bit of crafting, got my strength up, and then it was straight on to Dark Wizards for beginner clues. We were working on getting ourselves 70 crafting and all of our beginner clues. Primarily we were looking for the mole slippers, which eventually we got after about 530 beginner clue scrolls. Scammed by Jagex, am I right? But then it was kind of about the end of the free-to-play journey at this point. Didn't really know what else to do. I didn't have any goals, so I just AFK'd some fish, and that was about it. And did that until we were ready to give up the account, pretty much. We'd stopped playing for over a year and wanted to find a new journey, which is where we are here today. And ended up with some pretty nice total levels there. Got fairly high on the high scores, for my opinion, for how casually I played. Then it was on to pay to play. In pay to play, obviously, we got all these items from Clue Scrolls. Immediately got to be able to store those, right? So we started with pay to play, using a little bit of 25 mil cash. Started up the construction grind. That gave us to about 50 construction, and we were able to start storing our stuff, and then non-stop quest grind. began. We were cranking out quests left and right and left, cranking out all the skills, cranking out everything we needed to get them Barrow's gloves as quickly as we possibly could. I remember I got them roughly 2 weeks after I came to pay to play, which, I mean, definitely is not ridiculous or crazy by any means, but for me, I was pretty proud of that accomplishment. 2 weeks in as a pay to play UIM felt pretty good to me. Oh man, though this was pretty tedious. All the freaking Intrana runs that I had to do and managing my inventory for the quest where you had such limited inventory space. Gosh, the inventory space, at least I did this super early on, and that's exactly why I did it right away when I came to pay to play, is my inventory space on this account is so dang limited with the restrictions, even more so than I typically would on a UIM. So that's why we did this in the order that we did it, and it definitely could have probably done more efficient. I'm no efficient gamer by any means, but yeah, that's where we went. We kept grinding and grinding, got to the RFD subquest, got there's a treasure, and then bam. After the Barrow's gloves were obtained, then it was the next journey. We had to get 83 construction, which took up a lot of my cash. I definitely could have done it at Mahogany Homes, but at the time I was focused on another account. So chopping the oaks and doing them the way I did it, yeah, it cost a lot more money, but it was a lot more relaxing for me. So we got a lot of gains. We made it right through and got all the way to 83, and it was like roughly 79 or 80 woodcutting that we got off of that grind too. After that, we were able to dump pretty much everything and start out some agility, getting that full graceful. We ended up dropping and destroying our rune pouch. That's why in some of these you don't see the rune pouch anymore. We got rid of the rune pouch so that we could do rogues, get the rogues outfit for later on while we had a clean inventory, which was rough because you have to have a clear inventory, but you also with the no death piling, you know. But then we were on to just more of the grind for Song of the Elves at this point afterwards, which basically was a combination of farming, thieving, and herblore. Just for months and months and months, this is all I had the ability to do. Every time I got a nest from Birdhouse that gave me seeds, I planted that. Just wanted everything, and then it was just laps and laps and laps of all of this, trying to get those level 70s for Song of the Elves, which eventually, after about 2 months, we were able to knock out and cranked that out right good. It was very, very easy, to be honest, because I had such high stats coming from free-to-play. Afterwards, we just did a little bit of crafting with the easy charter shop method we got now. Got our 70 prayers so we could have piety for in the gauntlet, and then it was time for gauntlet, which we ultimately ended up getting spooned really nicely. We got the enhanced on, I think it was 81 kill count, which we ultimately used to make Blade of Saldor. Reason being is we had our eyes set on Tob, and we also had no desire for doing any Slayer training other than what was needed for questing on this account, at least for the foreseeable future was kind of the plans. Just that whip skip was kind of popular at the time, and I thought that was a cool idea, so I did it. After we got that all enhanced and everything, it was time to get our herblore up high enough to make a bunch of staminas, so it was back on to the same grind we had done previously before Song of the Elves. Then it needed a little break, some fletching, try to get the rune crossbow requirement, and then that gave us the option because TOA had launched. So we finally were able to get our inventory cleaned up enough, and we hit up TOA, got the thread on 1 KC, and then we got the red gem on a couple KC later, which we ended up using for most of our KCs. Nothing solo. We were playing with friends the whole time. Ended up sniping an Osmumton's Fang on 29 kill count. I'm very happy, but that required me to make a big change in my plans once again on this account. We started working towards making the Osmumton's Fang our primary melee weapon, which involved us getting a Xerix Talisman in our house, so we could get rid of that pile of that inventory space. And we also started going towards the quest cape, so we didn't have to have the lunar staff on me at all times. Which after we did that, we also decided it was time to crank out a bunch of diaries because we, up till this point, pretty much procrastinated every possible diary we could. So, of course, that meant we got to get rune crafting up, which on an account like this means we also got to get the Temple of the Eye outfit. So that's what we did. We did a little bit of Mass World, and then we had our good friend Lamps, teach us how to do Dolo, which at first I very much hated, and I apologize again, Lamps, but you were right. You were definitely right. That was the way to go. We got it all done. We cranked out a bunch of that stuff. We cranked out the quest cape, all these other quests, and which, man, Desert Treasure 2 on this account was another quite giggly one, that's for sure. Having to deal with all those bosses and managing my inventory, trying to make as much space as I possibly could for some of those bosses, really pushed to the limits of what this account was able to do. But we got it done in the end, and now we got the quest cape, we got all the nice quality of life, and yeah, now we're on to the next adventure. We did a little bit of mole after the quest cape, so we could make a bunch of brews, about 520 mole kills, and then that was all the brews, and that's where we ended. That's where we're all caught up to right here. That's the whole story we got for you. It's a little bit of a mouthful. I know I really spit through it all, but I figured, it's more just to have the information there, and we can build from where we are now. At least fill you in on all of the stuff and show you what we're rocking with and how we got from point A to point B. But yeah, that's where we are. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you look forward to seeing some more content with this account. I know I look forward to more content. Peace.